So we start with the first question. Where do you see the MSME sector in India heading? And in the future, how do you think it will go?
I think the MSME sector in India has for a long time been the backbone of the Indian economy, whether in terms of its contribution to exports, whether it's been in terms of contribution to the GDP and in terms of also employment. And I think this is something that will continue, especially given the focus on entrepreneurship that has been taking place. You will find more and more businesses coming up, and I think they will tend to grow, they will tend to build capacity. So I believe MSMEs is what will sustain the Indian economy and will continue to remain a growth engine for India.
All right. What would you say are those key challenges that are faced by MSMEs and how can they handle them? Something as simple as securing a loan.
I think there are multiple challenges that the MSME sector faces. Access to finance has always been one, and I think that will continue to be there because it's not for the lack of either institutions or for the lack of products. It's got to do with more. I think governance is a very big part where MSMEs need to focus on having proper governance principles in place. They need to pay attention to how they keep their books, maintain their books. All of this will enable them in terms of access to finance. Other key challenges I think that they face currently is in terms of scalability. Now, in terms of when can a micro move to becoming a small becoming a medium, and medium to move into a large scale sector. And it's still uncertain whether this is because of lack of opportunities or because it's a lack of will. But I think this is a challenge, and in certain cases I think the transition from micro to large should happen. It need not happen for everybody, but I believe there should be more instances where this growth happens, at least to the next level, if not all the way through.
How can MSMEs ensure that they stay agile, adaptive, given that we are living in an era of rapidly changing landscape, be it business, be it economics? So yeah.
I actually do think MSMEs have been agile and they've been reactive and adaptive. I mean, look at what MSMEs have done in terms of adopting digital payments, especially in the context of UPI. Look how they've reacted in terms of e-commerce. So I don't think the problem is that. I always believe that it will take a certain amount of lag only because MSMEs, much like any other large business, has to realize a utility value of any kind of change that's happening. If it's for the positive, if it's a policy change, if it's a policy kind of initiative, they need to see the utility. The moment any MSME realizes the utility, they will adapt to it. But on the other side, I think agility, and if COVID has taught us anything, it is that MSMEs also should be encouraged to prepare contingency plans for the businesses, so that they are more prepared for COVID-like situations, whether natural or pandemics or any kind of thing, where businesses can continue to work and maybe, if not thrive, at least function and keep afloat during emergency situations.
Okay, last question. What regulatory changes would you say will help, foster growth for MSMEs, and how?
I'd like to maybe address this at a more macro level than give specific inputs. The one big change that I would like to see regulatorily is consolidation of a lot of your MSME schemes. You see, MSME is one of those sectors which cuts across multiple sectors. It's not a sector, it's a type of business. So you have schemes related to micro, small and medium enterprises, not just within the Ministry of MSME, but they happen at the state levels and they happen across other ministerial verticals. And I think this needs to be consolidated, because what is happening is there is a lot of money allocated to different schemes. A lot of the MSMEs don't know where to look, what to look. It's not all together. Some of the schemes are duplicates. So I think a consolidation has to happen. You need to reassess, do an impact assessment of what has worked, what has not, so that you have a more efficient way of allocating your money as far as the MSME schemes are concerned, and you have a better way of also implementing them. So I think this would be the big change that's required.